This is 7 National News, and in our top story, the UAE Vice President, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, has stated that customer satisfaction is not enough and that overall happiness is one of the main goals of the government. His Highness said that this should also be a goal for the private sector and the whole of society, and that achieving welfare and happiness for nationals and expats is what drives our national agendas for all sectors. The statement was made at a meeting at the Executive Office, where the ruler of Dubai approved the results of the Happiness Meter, an initiative that was launched a year ago. The results showed that 89% of the public were satisfied with government services in Dubai, according to the meter, which polled more than 2 million customers at 28 government departments. The meeting was held in the presence of His Highness Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Crown Prince of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Maktoum bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Deputy Ruler of Dubai, His Highness Sheikh Ahmed bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the CEO and Chairman of Emirates Airline and Group, and a number of senior officials. The ruler of Dubai then instructed local government departments to introduce the happiness meter into private sector organisations and also endorsed Dubai's happiness agenda, which includes 82 projects, 16 main programmes and 4 strategic plans to explore, change, educate and measure. The results of the happiness meter showed that Dubai Customs emerged as the best government department in terms of customer happiness, while customers of the Road and Transport Authority accounted for the majority of those polled. Other departments honoured during the executive meeting included the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority, the Knowledge and Human Development Authority, Dubai Courts and Dubai Police. The initiative was designed to instantly measure the level of satisfaction of the public about government services provided across 328 locations in 38 departments using networked electronic devices. The happiness meter also sends daily reports to decision makers to enable them to monitor government services that people are most satisfied with and identifying the geographical areas where these services are being provided. Data is also being analysed to know why 10 a.m. every Tuesday was the happiest hour for the public. The Ministry of Energy has announced a hike in fuel prices for the month of June. The new prices have been revealed as global oil prices recover due to a rise in demand and disruptions in supplies, especially from Nigeria. Brent, the global benchmark, was trading at around $50 per barrel, which is the highest since November last year. The new per litre prices are as follows. Super 98 will be set at 1 dirham and 86 fils, up from 178 in May. Special 95 will be 175, up from 167, and E plus 91 168 from 1 dirham and 60 fils. The diesel price will be increased from 160 in May to 177 for June. The prices are based on the average global prices for diesel and petrol, with the addition of operating costs and profit margins of the distributing companies. As autism awareness rises in UAE schools, experts in special education needs attended the first MENA SEN Conference in Dubai today, exploring ways to create self-directed learners, while also aiming to build a more inclusive society in the UAE. While addressing many educators and teachers at the Mohammed bin Rashid Academic Medical Centre, event organisers at the Al Jalila Foundation stated that excellence in inclusive practice is one of the main agendas of the UAE government, and by shifting from a medical model to a social rights-based model of disability, they are hopeful that an inclusive education system can be implemented in the country. During a session on addressing the most common roadblocks to learning, SEN experts highlighted that teachers need to adopt innovative ways to create an environment where students are not merely consuming information, but also actively thinking in classrooms. adding that the ability to learn is fundamental in improving education. SEN specialists noted that while educating special needs children, teachers should focus on the root causes of their problems rather than focusing on their symptoms.
School is not about only education, it's more about the social system, having friends. The best place to establish friendships is our schools. So the idea of the conference came from schools themselves because they created something called Dubai Sen Network. We met with them and we talked about having an international conference, and hence we have the MENA SEN Conference. The idea is to bring the international expertise here to Dubai to help all these schools to create the right environment to educate these children, because these children are able to learn and to be educated, but we need to know the best way to educate them.
I think we all know that every student is wired to learn in a different way. We're neurologically diverse, and cognition is the driver for learning, and cognition is affected by how we feel towards learning or how learning makes us feel in that process, as well as by behaviors that we have that improve or hurt our learning process. So if you think about learning as a sequence of events that should happen naturally and in sequence, then you would start with the teacher fully aware of how to captivate the student's attention and see this as a brain is a door that's closed. So when the teacher starts to speak, they need to know how to knock, realize how the door is being opened, open it before the lesson begins.
Many schools in Dubai specialising in special education needs also attended the two-day conference while showcasing their latest programmes to create a learning environment for children with special needs. Special lectures, seminars and workshops over the next 2 days will focus on various topics, including understanding and managing challenging behaviours in classroom settings.
We have our own, what we call the Achievement Centre, which has specialist teachers, and we have children come to us. But what the most important thing is getting every single class to be inclusive for every child that's in there. So what we tend to do is to try and train the teachers with sort of strategies that they could help with the children, but also, as I was showing over there, we try to give the most important thing is to give the teachers the information about the child and how you can get that information across as succinctly as possible, because nobody wants to read reams of paper, and then the teachers can use those strategies and use those ideas to change their lessons and to make their lessons inclusive and to just sort of tweak. It only takes tweaks sometimes for the child then to be able to access the information that's being given to them.
Just over 1 in 4 students use social media 5 hours a day or more, while almost 1 in 3 say that they have been bullied online, according to the latest report. And ADEC officials are hoping that the findings will prompt policymakers to take students' use of social media and mobile phones more seriously. The Abu Dhabi Education Council surveyed 31,109 public and private school students in grades 6 to 12 during the second term of this academic year about their social media habits. 72.1% were from private school, 59% were females, and Emiratis made up about 39%. The results showed that 14.7% of students spent between 5 and 10 hours on social media per day, while 12.3% said more than 10 hours. Most students at 69.7% said that they were on social media between 1 and 5 hours a day, while 3.3% said less than 1 hour. The results also showed that 56.5% said that they had tried to quit social media within the past 12 months, but were unsuccessful. Asked whether they had ever been cyberbullied through social media, 28.9% of the students said yes. About a quarter said that they turned to their parents for help, 27.5% went to a friend or non-immediate relative, while 22.4% didn't tell anyone. Off the back of this, Dr. Masood Badri, ADEC's head of research, stated that rather banning students from using their mobile phones and social media in public schools, he said that ADEC should use the technology to its advantage. Dubai's grocery stores have been given 2 years to comply with a new uniform look and standards. The revamp has been announced by the Department of Economic Development in Dubai and have been given until Q2 of 2018 to ensure full compliance with the new standards for both the interior and exterior. According to reports, the move comes as the DED looks to improve the quality of services to the public, particularly in the retail sector. The new criteria covers various basic and operational requirements, including the unification of logos and business identity, colour scheme, signage, exterior finish, interiors, including fixtures and display units, storage area, as well as fittings and lighting. And finally, looking to other news, after some fierce battles on the courts by the Burj Khalifa, the 2015-16 Squash World Series drew to a close here in Dubai, with a dominating win for Laura Massaro in the women's finals and for Gregory Gaultier in the men's final encounter. The 5-day grand finale of the World Series was a memorable occasion for the 31-year-old Laura Massaro, who held onto her nerves to clinch the trophy in the 5th game with a 3-2 win over former world number 1 Raneem Al-Walili. Her 62-minute victory meant that Massaro also became the first British player to win the World Series final since Peter Nicholls' victory over a decade ago in 2001. Laura ended this year's season with 455 points in the bag, as well as a $45,000 winner's check. The number 1 seed had also avenged her Women's World Championships defeat against current world number 1 Noor El Sherbini by inflicting a heavy defeat in the semi-finals.
I think in the 4th game I was almost slipping away from me, and I think maybe that's why the performance in the 5th was so I was just really happy with that performance in the 5th, because it was so close in the 4th game. Managed to maybe just drop my shoulders and relax and think, it's nothing to lose now, just go out and try and play well, so I was happy. I think I'd played a really good 4th game, and so I sort of wanted to keep the momentum going a little bit, and I think with getting, it was quite clear between games what it was that I needed to do, and we'll just get a quick drink, get my tactics straight in my head and get back on, but yeah, it definitely helped keeping the momentum going.
And the men's final encounter witnessed a clash between Frenchman Gregory Gaultier, who continued his aggressive and impressive form with a decisive victory over Australia's Cameron Pilley. The 33-year-old was all set to cause an upset in the final match after sealing a spot in the finals through ousting the current number 1 Mohamed Al-Shorbagy in the semi-finals to further spoil the potential Egyptian party here in Dubai. Despite a comeback in the 3rd game, Gaultier proved to be too strong for Cameron to become the first Australian to lift the title since 2006. It was double delight for the Frenchman as he registered a win in the opening tournament of the season and ended it on a high note here in the UAE.
3rd game was a bit weird. I was maybe thinking a bit too much of the win. I was rushing my shots. I was playing wrong tactically, but he was fluid and his shots went in. So once you open the court, and it's like he's fantastic striker. So then I was far away from the balls and couldn't cover the court. So in the 4th, I managed to inject a bit more pace, and at the end it paid off. I was expecting to play him, and you're gonna play and prepare whoever is on your way, and obviously Cameron did well, beat him 2-love. He played, he was more solid, he was a better player yesterday, and sometimes upsets happen, and it happened to me, it happened to Shorbagy, it happened to other players. You can't always win, so that's why the squash is really interesting nowadays, because there's not only one winner like it used to be in the past. Anybody in the top 10 can get a win, and Cameron proved it this week by being the last seed and reaching the final, so that's amazing.
Overall for the event, I'm very happy with how it's gone for me this week. Obviously disappointing to lose the final. I thought I was playing well enough this week to push him to 5 games or even win it. So to lose 3-1, it is disappointing, but I mean, there's a lot of positives I can take from that match. I felt I was getting him tired in the third and fourth games. I just couldn't quite capitalise on my opportunities. But overall, it's been a successful week.